present world of digitalization, mobile applications have changed how we interact with technology to give us the advantage of convenience, accessibility, and functionality at our fingertips. Now, on the other hand, mobile app security becomes of no small importance together with the pros of these apps. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Analytics Insight podcast, where we talk about the ever evolving tech space. And I'm your host, Priya Dayalani. With mobile apps handling sensitive user information, financial transactions, and communication, security has become an essential aspect for businesses, developers, and even users. So let's welcome Mr. Manish Bhimani, founder and CEO at Protect.ai, to talk more about mobile application security and its best practices. Hi Manish, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, doing good. Thank you, Priya, and going on lovely. How are you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you so much. So it's a pleasure to have you with us on our podcast today. And while we will dive deeper into the mobile security application best practices and the challenges related to it, we would first, of course, would like to know more about Protect.ai. So can you brief us about the organization, its specific solution, or any specific specialization the company deals into?
Thanks, Priya. At Protect.ai, we are pure play mobile threat defense, and we do mobile application security, mobile device security, and mobile transaction security. So, having said that, we cover the entire gamut of mobile. At Protect.ai, we believe that the entire future of digital revolution is moving towards mobile. Okay, if you look back 10 years or 15 years, everything was onto the laptop, desktop, internet. So these things have moved slowly towards the mobile, and the digital revolution, the payment revolution, the e-commerce revolution is all about mobile applications, mobile transactions. And at Protect.ai, we provide a complete security platform, mobile application security platform, mobile device security, and mobile transaction security. Whatever products we have developed at Protect.ai are first of its kind into Indian market, all innovative solutions, and we have taken the leadership in terms of providing mobile application security into the Indian landscape. 100% make in India, developed in India, innovated in India, and all our solutions are very uniquely positioned for the need of mobile application, whether it is BFSI or whether it is e-commerce or any kind of government to citizen apps. We provide security to these mobile applications, and we provide secure identity management and transaction security to these apps.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Manish. Quite interesting. And of course, we'll talk more about it in our discussion ahead. But we would also like to know more about yourself, Manish. I think you have been a gainer of some prestigious awards and allocates, including a strategic technology leader and innovator winner of CIO 100 Award for 3 consecutive years between 2017 to 19. So, if you could tell us more about yourself, your journey till date, and what led you to to your interest towards mobile app security.
So I have been into CIO role before Protect.ai, into CIO role with many companies. Last was I was CIO and part of the global IT leadership team at a very large insurance organization. Under this role, I have been heading CIO, CISO role, security, digital transformation, and interacting with business leaders across the industry. I have spent more than 2 decades, especially into the BFSI domain, doing digital transformation, very large scale digital adoption, and consumer facing digital delivery, okay, apart from the security. While doing the CEO and CISO role, and then understanding how the digital is shaping up, I somehow realized that there is a big, dearth of talent in terms of cybersecurity, especially into the Indian market. There are lack of products, and again, once it comes to mobile applications, the entire ecosystem is vacant. There were no Indian companies, no Indian product, and that is how I got driven by kind of innovation aspirations. That is something do not exist into the Indian market. Why not to do? Why not to innovate? And with my kind of experience, I interacted with few similar-minded people, formed a team, and that's how we built a very robust, scalable mobile application security platform, first of its kind and only of its kind into the Indian market. And today we cater to all large banks, stock exchanges, insurance companies, stock trading applications, very large NBFCs as our customer who adopt Protect.ai mobile application security platform for the protection of their mobile applications, for the protection of their customer data, for the protection of the identity of their customers, while they interact with them onto their mobile application. So having said that, this is all about innovation. I was driven by innovation. I was driven by passion to create something new which do not exist, and then we built a platform which is very uniquely positioned. And today we cater to 100 million mobile app sessions every day onto this platform, and we analyze approximately 1 billion data points on an each and every day risk assessment in terms of mobile applications we interact with.
Great, quite an impressive journey, I must say, Manish, and thank you for sharing that. We're glad to talk about your journey and to understand and know that you're more of an innovator and a passion towards mobile app security. Now, talking about mobile app security and specifically in India, I think the Indian mobile app industry sees an average of 333 downloads per app, surpassing their global counterparts, which generate around 294,000 downloads per app. Now, research also suggests that over 95% of the Indian BFSI apps have failed the reverse engineering threat test, exposing customers to cyber and financial fraud. Now, it's very important that companies implement robust security measures to protect user sensitive data, prevent the exploitation of mobile app vulnerabilities, and also guard against threats like tampering, identity theft, and other frauds. So,
Yeah.
what are some of the key challenges that you see in terms of mobile app security, specifically towards fraud control?
I was talking about digital transformation, and if you see, especially BFSI and banking domain, the major part of the payment transactions as a user, as a consumer, we have moved towards mobile applications. Right today, banks have like 90% of the payment transactions happening through their mobile applications, and such is the wide adoption of mobile and mobile application ecosystem and mobile related services into the Indian market. Again, this is a global phenomenon, but India has taken leadership in terms of payment, in terms of UPI, in terms of mobile banking, in terms of NBFC, even in terms of e-commerce. But at the same time, we have seen huge amount of threats, huge amount of cyber threats, account takeovers, frauds, which have started happening. Today, if you pick up a news paper, every day we see one or the other news where we talk about somebody else logged in into banking account of another person, money taken out, identity takeover. Okay, these kind of frauds has started happening. This is very negative to the industry because at one side we are talking about digital adoption, about transformation, about reaching out to the general public. I mean, even in tier 4 and tier 5 cities and village level through digital medium. But at the same time, all these threats is creating a negative impact. People get sometimes scared. Even sometimes these phishing calls, SMS links, email links. So this has become so scary. Even for people who are qualified cybersecurity experts, we have seen sometime getting hooked or getting fished by sometime these emails. So imagine the kind of response you get from people who are into village level. So that is, we saw a huge gap in terms of mobile application. Why companies focused on digital adoption, delivering quick services through mobile applications to their customers, or even for their employees for acquiring business. Okay, with very good UI user interfaces, experience, good user experience, good functionality, good backend integration. But somewhere there was a gap in terms of cyber security, because once mobile applications are launched into the market, into the Play Store, it can be downloaded by anyone on their devices. And once it is downloaded by a consumer device, on a consumer device, it starts acting like an endpoint, which means that now from my device, I can connect to a bank's network using their mobile application. Right? That is how it works. And it actually enhances the scope of the definition of endpoint. In previous days, the endpoint was defined as laptop, desktop, but today your mobile application running on a consumer device, that has also become an endpoint, which means that a bank can have 1 million endpoint or 10 million endpoints. How do we go and handle it? What are the kind of threats which are originating from these devices? Okay, Android being an operating system which is open source, so many threats are there, and this is leading to multiple types of frauds. Okay, not only frauds, app cloning. You talked about reverse engineering. So it has become very, very easier with sophisticated tools to break an application, tamper with it, repackage it, recirculate it, and it will start behaving in a different way for which it is not meant for. And that is how the frauds have started happening. People started logging into somebody else's account. Imagine if somebody is going to log in my banking account using a mobile application. and even I'm not even aware of. And these are the kind of frauds which started happening. So especially into the BFSI domain, we have seen there are a lot of threats which started impacting even in e-commerce and NBFC applications, or even in government to citizen applications. Account takeover became common. Apart from these, frauds have started happening. You might have heard about screen mirroring app. Somebody is seeing your screen, okay, from remote, which means that somebody can log into my smartphone. I am using it, and the person is able to see what I'm browsing, how I'm doing, and people started doing frauds. General public who is not very mobile savvy sometimes is not even aware of that their screen is getting viewed. So in fact, RBI came out with a detailed mandate for banking and NBFC and payment system operators to start implementing security, strong security for the mobile application. So this the state what we have seen into the Indian market is really alarming in terms of 95% of those applications in BFSI we have realized that can be reverse engineered, tampered, and then repackaged, and companies are not able to understand their applications has been tampered. Account takeovers become very common. um, Frauds have started happening. Some data leakages, in even especially in Android ecosystem, there are so many malware which started spoofing the mobile application, or which started doing some kind of key logging, which means that taking out your customer data, their user ID, password, their bank account details. So multiple types of frauds, and started haunting the entire ecosystem, general public, and even regulators today like RBI, SEBI has issued notification to ensure the mobile application security is delivered in a right framework. And that is how I will call out that the mobile application state in India is still into fancy, and then it has to be taken care of.
Well, yes, I think I agree with you in a lot of points. I think with adoption of mobile apps across the Indian landscape,
Mhm.
it's increasing. And like you mentioned, there's also a huge gap in the mobile application as to how robust they are building in terms of defending the threats that are happening. And I think with increased mobile usage comes increased security threats as well. I was just reading across this article which said that more than 60% of digital fraud cases are initiated via mobile device. So I think a very unsecure mobile device can become an access point for I think innumerable malicious attacks. So and there was a time when the biggest threat to data was due to spyware, which runs silently on the computer background and steals the user data. Now even mobile devices are a fruit target for cyber criminals to steal user data even without getting noticed. So I think the cyber frauds are getting more sophisticated day by day, and even the hackers are using or leveraging these emerging technologies to ensure that all the attacks are in a sophisticated manner. I want to know from you, can you share some case studies like you mentioned about the different challenges in terms of mobile app security? So can you share some case studies demonstrating Protect AI's impact on app security or how it has helped?
Many, yeah,
Yeah.
Priya. I mean, if you talk about cases, we have seen so many different types of frauds happening. Okay, let me pick up few interesting use cases which are becoming very common. Especially again, I will pick up mobile banking because these are the most targeted ones. Okay, first is kind of application called AnyDesk, and AnyDesk is a screen mirroring application. People use it on their laptop, sometimes on the device to see each other's screen. What has started happening is on the name of bank, some other people are calling. Okay, we call it phishing or wishing, and they will ask that I'm calling from XYZ bank. Can you install AnyDesk? And I'm calling from their accounts department. People who do not understand install AnyDesk, and then they will take remote control now, which means that people are able to see on your device, okay, or on the victim's device. Then they normally ask that, okay, you click on the mobile banking application, log in, okay, add these accounts and transfer just 1 rupee, you will get 100 rupee out of it. And I'm calling from the bank. People become gullible, and then they started doing these kind of transactions. This has become a very big menace into the banking industry first. And you might have read or heard of any desk fraud. So in fact, RBI has mandated banks to stop their application if any disk is installed on the device. This is the kind of fraud which is started happening. Another thing what we have seen is in terms of malware based threats. Okay, there are some hidden malwares. Okay, duplicate APKs. You will get a link, download this, click here to download the new mobile application. Okay, and once you click on it, or the victim clicks on it, there is a Android app which gets downloaded onto the device. It is not even visible. Okay, and once somebody start their original mobile banking application, it will spoof, it will open of its own, it is just waiting for the mobile app, original app to launch, and it will from the background it will open, and user will not realize, and user will just start keying in onto the duplicate app. Another thing what we have seen is these hidden applications also capture whatever you are typing. These are keyloggers behavior. Okay, which means that if I'm typing my pin or I'm typing my user ID password, this malware will capture. These days there are a lot of AI driven frauds also started happening. Okay, with the advent of AI technology. Okay, people started sending mails first or some links on the name of some family members, or even calls are being done on the name of banks or family member or brothers and sisters or friends. Okay, asking, uh, sharing some link for immediate payments. So like these, there are so many frauds which is started happening. You might also have heard of FedEx scam. Okay, they will say that okay, you have received a parcel. Click here for your update address. Okay, and once you update address, then there will be a parcel which will be delivered or sometimes not delivered to your end, and it will just get a call that in those parcels there was something illegal which has been seized and you are responsible. So there are many types of frauds. The list is countless. People have to be really careful in the digital world, especially onto the mobile, what they are browsing, what kind of permissions they are giving to different applications, how they are clicking on links to download. Okay, and be very careful, especially where the money transactions are happening onto the mobile application. These are just few indicative cases. We have a list of some 30 different types of frauds where we have done these case studies, understood how these frauds are happening, and then we provide a lot of security to the mobile applications to counter these frauds, as well as huge amount of awareness is also required into the entire ecosystem.
Well, yes, I think awareness is one of the critical steps that organizations and businesses have to take care. And I think even the government plays a very important role in, spreading awareness regarding mobile app security, or the increasing number of frauds and thefts happening in the mobile app landscape. And I think when you clearly highlighted, I think with these, frauds, it's so important to keep our mobile app secure. But I think you, apart from organizations doing that, I think developers who develop these apps also play an important role as to how robust and secure they are building these apps. Because when you because developers kind of form the foundation block of an app, like they are the basic developers of an app. So when we're talking about mobile app security, I want to understand from you, what are some of the best practices that developers can keep in mind to keep mobile applications secure?
I mean, you have hit the right point in terms of what is the level of security by developers, because they form the core of the applications. First thing is, of course, uh, the boundary of the development. I mean, in terms of frameworks, what are being used, okay, are always updated. This is a basic need while designing the overall mobile application. That are we using all the frameworks which are updated? In a hurry, people just use whatever is available from the past, not updating it, which is a big risk right now. So we call it in technology language, those are deprecated libraries, which means which are outdated. So first thing first, in order to ensure security, okay, all the updated libraries should be used. Secondly, there is a concept of DevSecOps now, which means that while you are developing, you have tools to ensure the security of your application. You can test the security also. Earlier, while doing the mobile app development, companies were first testing functionalities, right? It is working right from functional perspective, from customer perspective. But now there are tools to test from vulnerability perspective also at the time of development itself. Okay. Second, which is very much required. And third, today there are a lot of tools which have are available, um, which can be directly integrated within the mobile application to enhance the security level, which means the developer today do not have to do much development also around mobile application security. There are tools integrated within the mobile application, and you will get a separate layered security control over the mobile app, which is what we call as the runtime protection, RASP technologies. So three important things, what I always believe is use the latest framework. This is a basic need. Second, use DevSecOps process, which means that during the time of development itself, ensure security testing. And third, there are security framework itself available, runtime protection available. Integrate. You do not have to develop it. There are very sophisticated tools, develop enhanced tools available. Integrate into your solution, and you will be free from, from the headache of developing any kind of security, and it will automatically provide those security, and it will be always updated as well. So these three things I believe as a part of the mobile application, once the corporates are developing, I mean, from this is a mindset of the corporates where, well, they design it, they have to design this process, and developers will follow.
Well, yes, I think when we're developing a process, it's very important that each important members in terms of mobile application development follow those processes. And I think when we're talking about mobile apps and the technological developments, I think technology is evidently evolving in parallel with the end users, and use cases are increasing with the emergence of new avenues of payments. Now, payments form the core of any financial institution, and it's become imperative for central banks to provide avenues that offer new world functionalities for relevance. Now, we spoke earlier about these cyber frauds that are happening in the financial sector, and mobile devices and financial sector is majorly going through these frauds. So, the central bank digital currency (CBDC) is one such avenue that aims to help central banks facilitate financial services widely. Now they have recently, it's the e-rupee that is a latest launch by RBI, and banks are building new apps for CBDC. So, what do you think about the security risk and mitigation approach for these apps?
I believe that RBI CBDC framework is very robust. It is based on blockchain technology, and it's very robust and very carefully designed. CBDC per se is a very robust technology which works at the back end using blockchain technology. But once it comes to the mobile application level, front end level, at the consumer level, that is where the risk sometimes happen. We have already seen a couple of fraud cases happening into few CBDC apps, and this is more of a phishing again. I mean, this is not failure of the technology per se, but somebody made those similar kind of account takeover or same kind of any desk related process and is getting into the system, which means that I am registering or somebody else is registering on my name. Okay, so these kind of frauds which has been already noticed. CBDC is still into fancy, it is picking up. Okay, and government is also going little slow testing all the waters, which is the right way of doing it while giving such payment ecosystems into the hands of millions. I think there is a selective way of giving the CBDC based applications. Till now, we haven't seen any kind of major challenges. I believe CBDC is the way to go forward. But of course, the security at the endpoint, the security at the customer level has to be intact. And more we adopt these kind of payment ecosystems, so people have to be becoming aware of the security. India is a leader in terms of UPI adoption. Now UPI is a seamless payment things which is happening. We keep on listening about some of the other threats, account takeovers, frauds happening into UPI, and these are because of the lack of knowledge at the consumer side. I think few cases might happen. Okay, already we have seen few cases, but it is very minimal. Going forward with the major adoption, we have to see, wait and watch how the things are shaping up. But overall, the security posture at the back end looks very good for CBDC.
Really glad to know that. And more than that, I think it's important for organizations and companies to implement robust security measures to protect the sensitive user data and prevent mobile app vulnerability cases, and which involve probably tampering, identity theft, and even the frauds that we discussed. So, one last question for you, Manish. What are your views on the future trends and advancements in app security?
The whole future is about mobile and smartphone. Okay, you see the kind of advancement, the kind of processing speeds of these smartphones now. Okay, more powerful than computers, and this will bring more advancement into the mobile application side. Companies would also like to leverage. Right? I mean, the smartphone is getting intelligent and intelligent. Companies would like to offer more and more features to keep engaging with their customers, with their prospects, or for acquisition as well as cross-selling. Everything is going to be on the mobile. Now, there is another angle to it in terms of AI. Okay, artificial intelligence is also getting in, which is even making life easier for consumers to find something life and giving a lot of opportunities to corporates to design new ways of serving their customers. But then there is a darker side of it. AI is also being used for frauds and for cyber threats. There are automated attacks which have started happening. You write a AI bot program and then you start a network level attack onto some corporate, and just by exploiting their mobile applications. That is how we have seen in few cases it has become so easy. And using AI writing such programs is just one day activity which was taking some 6 months earlier. And with chat GPT and all, everything is so handy. So I think digital is paving the complete new way for consumers, for corporates, as well as it is bringing an equal amount of risk back to the ecosystem. Companies have to be ready with those kind of risk assessments. Understand if they are delivering something, it has to be protected. Their consumer data needs to be protected. Financial information needs to be protected. Companies and organizations are also going to be binded by the new digital data privacy bill, which will make them liable for the protection of their consumer information, consumer data, how they use this data. And hence very carefully designing these digital tech stack using right set of AI as well as cyber security, enhancing the cyber security posture at the endpoint till the endpoint, and then blended with a right set of awareness, I think will be the need going forward. Okay, it has also already becoming a need. I mean, companies have seen it, but this will require a tremendous thrust in future.
Well, yes, I completely agree with you, Manish. I think the future is going to be based and revolving around smartphones and how we can leverage those capabilities to ensure that we are providing the best optimum services to our users and customers. And overall, I think consumer awareness is very critical in terms of promoting safe and secure mobile app usage practices among the general public. And I think specifically in India, because in India, where the smartphone penetration is increasing rapidly, educating users about the risks associated with mobile apps is very important. And again, I think, I mentioned earlier that government agencies, cybersecurity organizations, and industry association can play a vital role in raising awareness through the campaigns, workshops, or even education resources. It's more about empowering consumers with knowledge about how to identify and mitigate these security threats. Eventually, it can help in reducing the likelihood of a victim falling to cyber attacks and fraud schemes. Well, thank you so much, Manish. It was a pleasure having you with us on a podcast. I think we spoke about different perspective in terms of mobile app, where we spoke about mobile app security, why it is important, and what are certain things that we need to consider in terms of mobile app development that in future can also help in mitigating the risks associated with mobile app security practices.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Priya. Great interacting with you, and look forward to have such more such podcast in future.
Yes, definitely, Manish. Thank you so much. So
Thank
this is
you.
for our listeners. Stay tuned for our upcoming podcasts, and you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.